fireworks had just been ordered, and it had to be perfect. The final bell rang, and we all looked around the room with smiles, knowing the night of our lives was about to unfold. We met out in the parking lot and set the final plans, and then rushed home to get ready. I remember how I conned the car out of my dad so we could drive with style, and how I promised absolutely not to drink and drive. My date showed up with another couple, and we went through the picture thing, listening to my brothers and sisters giggling at our nervousness. We headed out to eat, then set out for the prom. On our way, we just happened to find a few bottles to pass around to help loosen us up for the big dance. It just didn't seem right to show up sober, so we drove around a few country roads for a while. I was enjoying my freedom, feeling like an adult, and ignoring the role of a student. We stopped for a short time to finish off the booze. I really didn't like to drink that much because I was active in sports, so I just had a few sips. Before we headed back to the prom, I decided to drive to make sure we were all safe. The last thing I remember was seeing a car coming towards us on our side of the road, and I knew that there was nowhere to go. I heard this deafening cry and felt a terrible jolt. Glass and debris flew everywhere. My whole body seemed to be turned inside out. I heard myself scream. Suddenly, I was awakened. It was very quiet. A police officer was standing over me, and then I saw a doctor. My body was mangled. I was saturated with blood. Jagged pieces of glass were sticking out all over. Strange. I couldn't feel anything. Hey, don't pull that sheet over my head. I can't be dead. I'm only 18. I have my senior prom to get to. I'm supposed to grow up and have a wonderful life. I haven't lived yet. I can't be dead. Eventually, I was placed in the room in a hospital all by myself with the lights turned down. The nurse brought some chairs in and placed them by my bed. My parents had to come to identify me. Why do they have to see me like this? Dad suddenly looked like an old man as he told the man in charge, yes, he is my son. They sat down next to me, crying, holding my hand for over an hour, kissing my forehead, and then they walked out of the room. My dad was practically carrying Mom. Mom! Dad! Don't leave me in here! I'm sorry. I never meant to hurt you. Please, take my hand. Pull me back! The funeral was a weird experience. I saw all my relatives and friends walking past my casket, one by one. They looked at me, asking why, but they didn't understand. My friends were crying, and my best friend since first grade touched my hand and sobbed uncontrollably. Please, anybody, wake me up. I gotta get out of here. I can't stand to see my mom and dad so broken up. My grandparents are so rattled with grief, they can barely walk. My brothers and sisters looked like zombies. They were in a daze. Everybody was in a daze. Everybody. No one could believe this, and I couldn't either. Please don't bury me. I'm not dead. I have a lot of living to do. I want to laugh and run again. I want to sing and dance. Please don't put me in the ground. I promise, God, if you just give me one more chance, I'll change. I'll be more careful, and I promise I'll never drink another drop. All I want is one more chance. Please, God, I'm only 18.